The blue light of distant stars reflected off the polished surface of the UES horizon as it drifted at the edge of Earth's solar system. Captain Olivia Martinez stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the massive alien vessel that had appeared just hours ago. After decades of searching the skies and sending signals into the void, humanity finally had its answer. They were not alone. "Status report," Martine said, her voice steady despite the flutter of excitement in her chest. "All systems normal, Captain," replied Lieutenant Alan Perry from his station. "The alien vessel remains at a distance of 50,000 kilometers. No signs of aggression." Martinez nodded. "Open the channel again." The main screen flickered to life, revealing a creature with smooth purple skin and large, intelligent eyes. Ambassador Vortalk of the Galactic Council spoke in perfect English, a feat accomplished through their advanced translation technology. "Captain Martinez, we are pleased to establish formal contact with your species. The Galactic Council welcomes this historic moment." Martinez felt a smile spread across her face. "The feeling is mutual, Ambassador. Earth has long wondered if we shared the galaxy with others." "You are far from alone," Vortalk said. "The Council represents 7 advanced civilizations, each with thousands of years of spacefaring history. We would be honored if your diplomat would join us aboard our vessel for preliminary discussions." Within the hour, Chief Diplomat Richard Daniels shuttled across to the alien ship. The mission control room on Earth buzzed with activity as leaders from around the world gathered to witness the historic meeting. Admiral Frank Carter of Earth's Unified Defense Force watched with arms crossed and eyes narrowed. "I don't like it," he muttered to Dr. Elizabeth Nelson beside him. "They show up out of nowhere with this perfect knowledge of our language and customs." Nelson, Earth's leading xenobiologist, shrugged. "First contact was always going to be one-sided. They clearly have technology centuries beyond ours." On the screen, they watched as Daniels was escorted through corridors of impossible architecture. The council chamber contained representatives from 7 distinct species: the purple-skinned Volorens, the insectoid Zithar, the crystalline Maraxians, the massive reptilian Krell, the ethereal Effusions, the 4-armed Dorvan, and the diminutive but sharp-eyed Tellarites. The meeting began cordially, but as hours passed, Admiral Carter's unease grew. The alien representatives spoke with subtle condescension, discussing Earth as though it were a curious discovery rather than a home to billions of thinking beings. "Your species has progressed remarkably quickly," said the Maraxian representative, "considering your limited resources and biological constraints." Daniels maintained his diplomatic smile. "We're adaptable." "Indeed," the Krell representative rumbled. "Your development of primitive space travel in mere decades is unexpected." Later that evening, when Daniels returned to Earth, he brought troubling news. In a closed meeting with world leaders, he revealed what he had learned. "They've been watching us for over a century," he explained. "They have monitoring stations as close as the far side of our moon." President Samantha Nguyen leaned forward. "Without making contact until now. Why?" "They classify developing worlds. We were categorized as pre-spaceflight primitives with potential. They only make official contact when a species develops certain technologies." Admiral Carter slammed his fist on the table. "And the worst part," Daniel sighed, "I discovered they've already divided our solar system among themselves. Jupiter's moons to the Volorens for mining operations, Mars to the Zithar for colonization. They see our system as ripe for development, with our permission, of course." "How generous," Carter said, voice dripping with sarcasm. The final blow came when Security Officer Diane Rodriguez decoded a transmission between council ships. The message spoke of humanity as a manageable asset, once properly contained. President Nguyen stood, her decision made. "Prepare our delegation. We'll hear their official terms, but we will not surrender humanity's future to become an alien footnote." And Admiral, "Mom, ready our defenses." Quietly. As the Council's ships moved closer to Earth, Humanity prepared for a first contact that was quickly turning into a first stand. The United Nations building buzzed with tension as delegates from every nation packed the main hall. On the large screen at the front, 7 alien faces looked down at humanity's representatives. Ambassador Vortelk of the Volorans took center position, his purple skin shimmering under the lights of the council ship. People of Earth, Vortelk began, his translated voice smooth and pleasant. The Galactic Council is pleased to offer your species membership in our united community of worlds. President Samantha Nguyen stepped forward, her face carefully neutral. We appreciate the offer, Ambassador. What would this membership entail? After careful study of your civilization, we have determined Earth requires a standard integration package. Vortelk explained. Humans will receive protected species status for 200 Earth years. During this time, Council advisors will oversee the management of your resources and guide your development. Admiral Frank Carter stood in the back of the room, his hands clenched into fists as he listened. The Zitha representative clicked her mandibles before speaking. Your military capabilities must be reduced to ensure regional stability. All space-based weapons will be removed. Your nuclear stockpile will be placed under Council control. For your own safety, of course, added the Marakshan delegate, his crystalline body reflecting the light in rainbow patterns. Advanced technology will be introduced gradually, as your society proves ready. Murmurs rippled through the Earth delegation. President Nguyen raised her hand for silence. Let me understand, she said. You want us to surrender our sovereignty, disarm our planet, and allow you to control our resources, all while we wait 2 centuries to be considered equals. You misunderstand, Vortelk said, though his eyes narrowed slightly. This is the standard path for developing worlds. The Council has successfully integrated over 30 species using this exact protocol. In a secure room beneath the UN building, Lieutenant Commander Kyle Roberts monitored deep space feeds from Earth's hidden satellites. He picked up his secure phone immediately. Admiral, Council ships are moving into position around Earth. 12 vessels total, forming a containment grid. Back in the main hall, President Nguyen conferred quietly with her advisors. Chief Diplomat Richard Daniels shook his head. These aren't terms. This is a surrender document. Nguyen turned back to the screen. The people of Earth thank you for your offer, but we must decline these terms. We request new negotiations as equals. The alien delegates exchanged glances. The massive Krell representative leaned forward, his reptilian features hardening. Perhaps we were unclear, he rumbled. These are not optional terms. The Council has determined this is the appropriate path for humanity. And if we refuse, Nguyen asked. Then we must implement containment protocols, Vortelk said. For the safety of surrounding systems, unregulated expansion of developing species has led to conflicts in the past. Admiral Carter stepped forward. That sounds like a threat, Ambassador. Merely a statement of Council policy, Admiral. Vortelk's voice remained pleasant. You have 72 Earth hours to reconsider your position. We suggest you use that time wisely. The transmission ended. President Nguyen immediately called an emergency session of the Security Council. They're positioning for military action, Admiral Carter reported once they were in the secure chamber. Their ships have us surrounded. Options? Nguyen asked. Dr. Elizabeth Nelson, who had been studying the biological data on the Council species, spoke up. Their technology is advanced, but I've identified potential weaknesses in their biological makeup. If it comes to a fight. It won't, interrupted Secretary of Defense Joe Miller. We should accept their terms. We can't win against their technology. Admiral Carter shook his head. I'm not so sure about that. We've kept certain military capabilities off the books. Operation Broken Forge could give us a fighting chance. President Nguyen looked around the room at Earth's leaders. Send word to the Council. Tell them Earth formally withdraws from peace talks. We will not surrender our future. As the others filed out, she stopped Carter. Admiral, implement evacuation protocols publicly. Make it look like we're preparing for defeat. Carter nodded. And privately, activate everything we've got, she said. Operation Deception Shield is a go. Across Earth, as citizens watched the news of failed peace talks with growing fear, military bases hummed with secret activity. Humanity was about to show the galaxy what they were really made of. Admiral Frank Carter hadn't slept in 36 hours. His eyes burned as he studied the holographic display of Earth's defenses. Around him, in the underground command center known as the bunker, his strategic team worked with quiet efficiency. Status report, he called out. Colonel Susan Hayes looked up from her screen. Evacuation centers are filling up across all major cities. News outlets are reporting mass panic. The Council is buying our act. Carter nodded. The public display of fear and preparation for defeat was exactly what they wanted the aliens to see. But beneath the panic, Earth's true response was taking shape. Dr. Elizabeth Nelson entered the room, her lab coat wrinkled from days of non-stop work. I have something, Admiral. Each Council species has specific biological weaknesses. The Volerans, for instance, can't process certain sound frequencies. The Zither respiratory system is vulnerable to particular compounds found in ordinary Earth plants. Can we weaponize this information? Carter asked. Non-lethally, yes. Disorientation, not death. We're better than that, Nelson replied firmly. On the other side of the room, Lieutenant Commander Kyle Roberts monitored space communications. The UN has officially transmitted our withdrawal from peace talks. The message cites unreasonable and demeaning terms as the reason. As the countdown to the Council's deadline continued, Earth's secret preparations accelerated. In orbit, dormant military satellites that had been disguised as space junk came alive, their systems booting up after years of silence. On the far side of the moon, experimental weapons platforms emerged from hidden bunkers, their existence unknown even to most of Earth's population. Captain Olivia Martins of the UES Horizon received new orders. You want us to do what? She asked, speaking through a secure channel to Admiral Carter. The Lazarus Protocol, Carter repeated. We're bringing everything back online. Cold War weapons systems, mothballed spacecraft, even the old missile silos that were supposedly decommissioned. Martinez whistled. How long have we been planning for this? Since the first radio signals from deep space were detected decades ago, Carter replied. We hoped for friends but prepared for enemies. Meanwhile, Captain Gregory Washington led a dangerous mission into space. His small, stealthy craft approached the Council ships under cover of Earth's natural electromagnetic field disturbances. Stay in the shadow, he instructed his team of 6. Plant the devices and get out. Don't engage. One by one, Washington's team placed quantum disruption devices near Council ships. These small, undetectable units would scramble alien communications at the critical moment. Back on Earth, President Nguyen addressed the United Nations for what the Council believed would be a surrender speech. The people of Earth face an unprecedented challenge, she began, her voice broadcast worldwide. The Council has given us 3 days to accept their terms. Those 3 days are nearly up. She paused, looking directly into the camera. To the citizens of Earth, trust in humanity. We have faced extinction-level threats before, plagues, climate disasters, world wars, and we have survived. We will survive this too. Unknown to the Council, her speech contained coded phrases activating sleeper agents and military units worldwide. In a secret facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Commander Nickel Rise oversaw the final preparations of Earth's hidden fleet. All ships report ready status. Admiral, she informed Carter through their secure link. Hold position, Carter ordered. Wait for the Council to make the first move. As the 72-hour deadline approached, Council ships began powering up their weapons systems. They expected a simple containment operation against a primitive species too frightened to resist. Their intelligence showed Earth's military scrambling in disarray, civilians crowding into shelters, and leaders preparing concession speeches. What they couldn't see were the stealth fighters hidden in underwater bases, the advanced defensive grid disguised as civilian satellites, or the quantum physics breakthroughs that had given humanity weapons the Council believed impossible for such a young species. The clock ticked down to zero. Earth's apparent surrender never came. The Council prepared to teach humanity a lesson about galactic power. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The first strike came at dawn. Council ships positioned around Earth fired blue energy beams at military installations worldwide. Their target list was thorough: missile silos, naval bases, airfields, and command centers. The energy weapons cut through clouds and struck with surgical precision. From his command center, Effusion Commander XL Fran watched the attack unfold. His thin, pale fingers tapped together in satisfaction. Initial containment proceeding as expected, he reported to the Council. Minimal resistance. Their primitive defenses cannot withstand our weapons. Aboard the Council flagship, Ambassador Vortelk nodded. A pity they chose this path. Begin the second phase once their military capability is neutralized. No one on the Council noticed the small smile that crossed the face of their human observer. Lieutenant Sandra Morris, officially there as a diplomatic liaison, quietly touched the communication device hidden in her ear. "They've taken the bait," she whispered. The Council's first surprise came moments later when their ships reported unusual energy readings from Earth's surface. Miraxian science vessels detected power spikes where none should exist. "Anomaly detected," reported the Miraxian captain. "Energy signatures inconsistent with known human technology." Before the Council could analyze these readings, Earth's true defense grid activated. Hidden beneath the ocean, disguised as ordinary satellites, and embedded in what appeared to be civilian structures, hundreds of defense platforms came online simultaneously. Admiral Carter's voice boomed through all Earth communication channels. "All units, Operation Deception Shield is now active. Engage hostiles." Across the globe, Earth's forces revealed their true capabilities. Missile silos that had appeared destroyed were actually empty decoys. The real weapons emerged from hidden mountain bunkers, launching advanced kinetic projectiles that moved at speeds the Council's sensors struggled to track. Fighter jets with stealth technology previously unknown to the Council poured from underground hangars. The quantum disruption devices placed by Captain Washington's team activated, scrambling alien communications and targeting systems. In orbit, Commander Zelfran's smug expression vanished as his ships came under attack from multiple directions. "Impossible," he muttered as his tactical display showed Earth weapons far more advanced than intelligence had suggested. "They're using gravitational weapons. They shouldn't have this technology." Humanity's response caught the Council completely off guard. While their energy weapons were indeed powerful, the Galactic Council ships regrouped in high Earth orbit. Their first wave had suffered unexpected losses, but their vast military experience told them the worst was over. Earth's defenses had shown surprising strength, but surely they had now revealed all their hidden capabilities. "Prepare the second attack wave," ordered Zithar General Sorvax. Her insectoid eyes narrowed as she studied the battle plans. "Target their remaining defense systems. They cannot have many resources left." The Council's massive battleships moved into formation, their weapons charging for what they expected would be the final push. Earth appeared quiet below them, many of its defense platforms now dark and silent. In the bunker, Admiral Carter watched the Council ships with a grim smile. "They're falling for it," he said to President Nguyen. "They think we're nearly beaten." "Are you sure this will work?" Nguyen asked, her face tired but determined. "It has to," Carter replied. "Commander Rice, are you ready?" Commander Nickel Rice stood on the bridge of the UES Defiant, hidden inside an asteroid base orbiting between Earth and Mars. "All ships report ready, Admiral. The Ghost Fleet awaits your command." "Begin Phase 2, Carter ordered. Across the solar system, humanity revealed its true power. Fusion-powered orbital defense platforms that had been completely invisible to Council sensors suddenly decloaked. Retrofitted asteroid bases that appeared to be natural space rocks opened to reveal missile batteries and fighter bays. Most shocking to the Council forces were the next-generation human fighters that launched from hidden underwater bases. These sleek, black ships moved with impossible speed, using technology the Council had believed beyond human capability. "What is happening?" demanded Sorvax as her tactical display filled with new enemy signatures. Where did these forces come from? Major Paul Winters led the Ghost Fleet, 50 ships with experimental stealth technology that could mask not just their location but their energy signatures. His voice was calm as he gave the order. "All Ghost units, engage as planned. Remember your training." The human counterattack hit the Council ships from multiple directions simultaneously. The Ghost Fleet struck from behind, their weapons specifically designed to target the weaknesses Dr. Nelson had identified in Council ship designs. In a hidden facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Keith Donovan activated humanity's secret weapon, the Nemesis system. This advanced artificial intelligence had been studying Council battle tactics since the first shots were fired. Now it coordinated Earth's defense, predicting Council maneuvers seconds before they happened. "Nemesis is online," Donovan reported. Tactical predictions flowing to all combat units. The effect was immediate. Human ships seemed to know exactly where Council vessels would be, striking with uncanny precision. Council captains found their favorite tactics anticipated and countered before they could execute them. Aboard the Council command ship, Ambassador Vortelk watched in growing horror as the battle turned against them. How is this possible? Their technology is decades beyond what our intelligence reported. The Effusion commander, Hagzelfran's voice shook with rage. They deceived us. They appeared weak and primitive when we arrived. This was their plan all along. On the UES horizon, Captain Olivia Martinez led a bold attack run directly at the Council flagship. All ships, pattern Sigma, target their communications array. Her squadron swept in, absorbing heavy fire but delivering a precision strike that left the Council flagship temporarily blind. As Martinez pulled away, her ship damaged but intact, she sent a message to all Earth forces. Remember Earth. The battle raged for hours, but the momentum had clearly shifted. Human forces pushed the Council ships back beyond Mars orbit. Several alien vessels were disabled, others destroyed outright. Admiral Carter watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "Send the message," he ordered. Across all frequencies, in all languages the Council used, Earth transmitted a single demand. Council forces will withdraw beyond the orbit of Jupiter immediately or face complete destruction. This is not a negotiation. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Council faced something they had never expected. A supposedly primitive species that had not only survived their attack, but was now dictating terms to them. From his command ship, Krell diplomat Urthal made an unprecedented decision. "Signal Earth. Tell them we request to reopen diplomatic channels." The humans had won the battle. Now came the real test, winning the peace. 3 days after the battle, the Council reinforcement fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system. 20 massive ships, each larger than any vessel in the first wave, held position beyond Jupiter. They did not advance, but their presence was a clear reminder that the Council possessed vast resources beyond what Earth had faced so far. Admiral Carter watched them on the long-range scanners. They could have sent those ships directly into combat. He noted, "Instead, they're holding back." "A show of force," President Nguyen said, standing beside him in the bunker. "They want us to know they have more. But they're not using it," Carter pointed out. "That means they're uncertain. For the first time in probably centuries, the Almighty Council is questioning its own judgment." A communication alert sounded. Lieutenant Perry looked up from his station. "Admiral, we're receiving a request from the Council. Krell diplomat Urthal is asking to speak directly with Earth's leadership." Nguyen and Carter exchanged glances. "Put it through," the President ordered. The massive reptilian face of Urethal appeared on the main screen. Unlike the condescending expressions the council representatives had worn during the first talks, the Krell diplomat looked distinctly uncomfortable. "People of Earth," he began, his deep voice rumbling. "The council requests a cessation of hostilities and proposes a diplomatic meeting. You asked for that once before," Nguyen replied coolly. "Then you tried to destroy us." "A regrettable misunderstanding," Urethal said. "We request a meeting aboard neutral territory to discuss terms." Carter stepped forward. "Your ships will remain beyond Jupiter's orbit. You may send one diplomatic vessel to meet at the coordinates we will transmit. Any deviation will be considered hostile action." After the call ended, preparations began for what might be the most important diplomatic meeting in human history. The UES Horizon, commanded by Captain Martinez, was chosen as the meeting site. Now repaired after the battle, it represented humanity's determination and resilience. "Keep all weapons systems on standby," Martinez instructed her crew as the council diplomatic ship approached. "And no one is to show any sign of fear or subservience. We won today, not them." The council delegation entered the Horizon's conference room with markedly different demeanor than their first meeting. Gone was the casual arrogance that had characterized their earlier interactions. Ambassador Vortelk led the group, his purple skin now pale with stress. Earth's delegation, led by President Nguyen, Admiral Carter, and Captain Martinez, waited for them at the conference table. "Thank you for agreeing to meet," Vortelk began. "The Council wishes to reevaluate our assessment of humanity." "I'm sure you do," Nguyen replied. "After we destroyed a quarter of your fleet." The representatives from the 7 council races exchanged uncomfortable glances. Urethal, the Krell diplomat, spoke next. "We made an error in judgment," he admitted, the words clearly difficult for him. "Our standard protocols for contact with developing species failed in your case." "You categorized us wrong," Carter said. "You thought we were helpless primitives you could bully into submission. Our intelligence was incomplete," Vortelk acknowledged. "We did not detect your advanced weapon systems or your military preparations." "Because we didn't want you to," Martine said. "We've been intercepting signals from space for decades. We hoped for friendship but prepared for the worst." The council representatives looked shocked at this revelation. The Maraxian delegate, his crystalline body dimmer than before, asked, "How long have you known about the wider galaxy?" "Long enough to know we wouldn't accept second-class status," Nguyen said firmly. "Your assessment protocols are flawed. You judge species by obvious signs of technological advancement. You missed our greatest strength." "And what is that?" asked Vortelk. "Adaptability," Carter answered. "Humans prepare for threats we haven't even confirmed exist. We imagine the worst and then build defenses against it. We've been fighting each other for millennia, which means we've had plenty of practice." The Effusion delegate, Zelthran, leaned forward. "Your hidden military capabilities exceed those of several full council members. You clearly qualify for direct membership, not protectorate status." "That's one thing we agree on," Nguyen said. "Now let's discuss new terms. Terms between equals." The discussions continued for hours. By the end, it was clear to everyone present that the balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted dramatically. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, not as a junior partner, but as a force to be reckoned with. 1 month after the battle that changed everything, representatives from Earth and the Galactic Council gathered aboard the UES Horizon to sign the historic peace treaty. The ship's largest chamber had been transformed for the occasion, with flags representing both Earth's nations and the 7 council races hanging side by side. Captain Olivia Martinez stood at attention as President Nguyen and Admiral Carter entered. "Never thought we'd be hosting this kind of party on my ship," she whispered to Carter. "You earned it," Carter replied. "Your actions during the battle turned the tide." The council representatives arrived next. Ambassador Vortelk led the delegation, looking noticeably more respectful than during their first meeting. Behind him came representatives from each council race, along with several aides and advisors. President Nguyen stepped forward to the central table where the treaty documents waited. Today marks a new chapter not just for humanity, but for the entire galaxy, she began. What started as conflict has led to understanding. Vortelk nodded. The Council acknowledges Earth as a full member with all rights and privileges. Your remarkable defense of your homeworld has earned our respect. The treaty terms were read aloud for all present. Earth was recognized as a sovereign power with complete control over the solar system. Humans would join the Council not as junior members, but as equals. A cultural and military exchange program would begin immediately, with human officers serving on Council ships and Council representatives welcomed on Earth vessels. Most importantly, Nguyen added, this treaty acknowledges that different species develop along different paths. The Council has agreed to revise its first contact protocols. After the formal signing, the gathering became more relaxed. Council members mingled with Earth representatives, many showing genuine curiosity about human culture and history. Dr. Elizabeth Nelson found herself speaking with the Moroccan scientist. Your biological adaptability is fascinating. The crystalline being told her, most species we encounter are more specialized. Humans are good at making do with what we have. Nelson replied, we'd rather find a way to make something work than accept limitations. Nearby, Admiral Carter was engaged in conversation with Zithar General Sorvax. Your fighters use tactics we've never encountered, the insectoid commander admitted. Our pilots train for precision and efficiency. Yours seem to improvise constantly. That's because they do, Carter said. We value creative thinking, especially under pressure. As the evening progressed, Captain Martinez noticed a group of smaller aliens watching the proceedings from a distance. They weren't from any of the 7 main council races. Curious, she approached them. Welcome aboard the Horizon, she said. I don't believe we've been introduced. The tallest of the group, a blue-skinned humanoid with 4 arms, bowed slightly. I am Nextor of the Bilari. We are observers. Martinez noted their nervous glances toward the council members. Just observers. We represent species classified as developing by the Council. Nextor explained quietly. We have been under protectorate status for generations. What Earth accomplished, it gives us hope. Hope? Martinez asked. That the Council can be challenged. That the natural order can change. Next, Tor leaned closer. Many races watch what happened here with great interest. You have shifted the balance of power in ways you cannot imagine. Later, Martinez reported this conversation to President Nguyen and Admiral Carter. Sounds like we've made some friends, Nguyen observed, and possibly some enemies among those who preferred the old power structure, Carter added. Either way, Martinez said, the galaxy knows about humans now. There's no going back. The next morning, as Earth celebrated its new galactic status, the Council's main archive was updated with a new classification for humans. Approach with respect and caution. Military capabilities exceed technological development level. Highly adaptable. Creative problem solvers. Excellent tactical thinkers. Recommended protocol. Direct diplomatic engagement as equals. And in smaller text, added by a Krell historian. Note, do not threaten their homeworld. They do not bluff. Earth had taken its place among the stars, not as a junior partner, but as a power to be reckoned with. Humanity's journey was just beginning, but one thing was certain, the galaxy would never be the same again.